That's
So
okay. Go on, tell
you
me.
managed to make it back then, I see.
Oh
Wonderful.
gosh, such a rush. I can't tell you because I left from South Greenford to go to Chase Farm Hospital.
Hmm.
It took me 2 hours, 45 minutes. So needless to say, I missed my slot. And yeah. So I didn't think I was going to make it back here I thought I'd make it back here nearer to 7 and just after, because it was just such a horrendous journey, you know. Anyway,
One of
what
the
missed
time
you?
I heard some thunderstorm. I was sitting here and it looked bright outside, but I could hear some serious rumbling going on. I
Oh,
thought the heavens opened.
there was no, it was such a nice day. There was sun and everything. And I stepped off the train. I swear blind somebody had a bucket of water and just threw it in my face. That's, that's how the rain just, as I stepped off the train, it just went,
Wow. Yeah,
you don't sound like you were outside at all today.
not at all. So today was a work from home day and I had papers to mark. So I was a bit in my zone, very blinds down, everything down. I don't know what's going on in the outside world. So I heard the rumbling, but when I looked through the window, the sky was blue. So I was a bit confused. So I thought maybe there was a vehicle going past or something. That's what it was. I don't know.
No, it was a torrential rain. I mean, I started the day off with a yellow top on, and when I took my coat off, it had the patches of water where the rain was so heavy it actually soaked through my rain mac.
Mm-mm.
Yes.
Damn.
You know.
So not gallivanting today was a bonus for me then.
Was a bonus for you, definitely. Because if you were out there, where just the traffic alone is just so slow.
Well, yes. So tonight, right?
Mm-hmm.
We have Sherrine, right? So I did it because her bio is a lot. So I guess there's a lot to unpack about her, right? So I just said, let me just do a summary of what she's about. So apparently, she is an integrative psychotherapist, an author, and a managing director of SAB or SAB Counseling Services Limited. And she has the gift for helping people understand the quiet ways we lose ourselves in relationships, even when we think we're doing everything right. That sounds interesting in itself. Losing yourself, yes? So she's going to open up about her journey into relationship work, the patterns of self-abandonment that she kept seeing, and how that has led her to create her book and journal, which is called Love Without Disappearing. It's a honest chat about identity, culture, and connection, and what it actually looks like to stay rooted in who you are while loving others deeply. And on that note, I see she's entered the room. I did make you a host.
I have. Hi, Sherrine. I can see you trying to come on, and our AB Anita is coming on as well. Hi.
Hi, Queen. I was just chatting you. Doesn't that always work out that way? As me, I chat the people, them they come.
Oh, she's trying again. She's obviously having some sort of technical stuff. I've just admitted her twice.
Okay.
And she's still not nice and bright.
Yeah, give her a mo. We know what the Zoom gremlins are like.
Oh gosh, we can do without them this week. After last week, I actually had to talk last week. I don't know if you watched it. I was like, now what should I say? Oh,
Hi, Anita.
dear.
That's a hello. Hello, Anita.
Hello.
How
How are
you
you?
doing?
I'm good, thank you.
Still I work for you there, you know. Still I work for you there. But what's I'm declimatizing first before I think of what I'm going to call you.
Yeah, I'm sure you're going to come
I
up with
know.
something good.
It's going to be amazing. It's going to be so fantastic. When she hears it, you see how she smile bright? When she hear her name, when we are going to hear, you know, it's going to, her smile is going to be like, it's going to be bigger than the smile on my t-shirt.
Don't call me Anita anymore.
She's going to take it out into the outside world. It's going to be her new nickname. That's, yeah, just watch this space. Watch this space, yeah?
We'll come
How's
up
your
with
week
it.
been, Anita?
For years, I was only ever known as my Veronica Bazi, which is my sister.
Veronica Barz's sister.
Veronica Bazi's sister. I didn't have a name. I was Veronica Bazi's sister.
I know them ones.
Oh, Sherrine's managed to get in. Hello.
When you have
Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Evening, I should say. Great to meet you guys. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for joining
it's
us.
a pleasure to have you.
Did you hear when Fluffy Chick was saying she was chatting you?
She said she came in twice, and I don't know why my computer does that, but it actually does that quite a lot. It brings me in twice, so I had to come out and come back in. But yeah, I'm here now.
Third time
lucky.
lucky.
Ego. It's showing that you and your alter ego coming at the same time.
It could be. Beyonce, you know, and we're born the same month, so what can I say?
Well, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I was saying just before you came in, you or your alter ego came in. I said I was just chatting to you, and I noticed that this is a trend. Every time I'm talking about the guests, that's when it looks like it's a spell. It brings them in. So yeah, I was just doing a little summary of who I think you are.
Okay.
What you said.
Okay. I didn't hear that bit.
Yeah, don't worry.
What was your summary?
You'll see in the replay. But I'm gonna give you my little intro. Well, before we get into that, Sugar normally does. Sugar, who is our co-host, does the little intro to get us started. So,
yeah,
but we'll wait a few more minutes. Let's give some people it's 7 on the dot. You know, we
I understand. So that's
No, I don't. You see, this is what encourages people to be late. Because they say, oh, they're going to start late anyway. But then they come late.
You are so right about that. We need to do better. We also need to know our people.
You're very polite. Very, very polite. Where did you two meet?
As in, which two?
That's UK Fluffy Chick and Sherrine.
Okay. Actually, I know her cousin. So she then did a link up with myself and Beverly. And that's how I discovered the platform that way.
Excellent.
I actually was at was it the last one, Beverly? I was at, I came in as a guest when Denise was speaking.
Yeah, I think that was the second week. That was a few weeks ago. We've been, you know what? Time has just been timing. Yeah. It's just flying. It's like, yeah, that was because we started back on the 1st of April. So that was like the second week, yeah. And Shadea, Sister Shadea, Daddy is here. Yes. Hey, cuz. See, well, she wasn't that late, only 2 minutes. It's all right. You know, can give little people a little leeway. So yeah, Sherrine was just saying how me and her met, Denise. I don't know if you caught that part.
Okay, yeah.
How are you?
Yeah. She definitely needs to be on this show. Yeah, excited to hear her.
And you know, me's the queen of fast. Me like to know people business.
Me wanna. Yeah.
All right, but you're good though, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, let's see some more people coming in. All right, Shugs, let's do it. Wait, Sugar gone? Sugar, Miss Yasmin. I've learned to pause between talks because last week with those Zoom gremlins, it was appearing as if I was talking over people because it had me on such a delay. So I'm learning to pause just in case something is being said.
Okay, yeah. I needed to get a copy of my book. That's why.
Okay, I'm back. I think the gremlins have decided to be with me instead this week. So you're okay, UK fluffy chick. Hello and good evening to everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. My name is Yasmin Euphemia, aka Sugar, and I'm here tonight with...
I am Beverly. I am your UK fluffy chick, and together we are the founder Sis-Stars of the Support a Sis-Star networking community, where our aim is to showcase people that are doing phenomenal things, whether it be starting up a new business, or in business already, or some kind of pivotal life moment, and would like to share their journey of being with us. So tonight we have with us Sherrine Barrowes, and we'll be diving into a conversation that so many of us quietly relate to, what it really means to stay connected to others without losing ourselves along the way. So Sherrine is a psychotherapist and an author and a managing director of SAB Consulting. I'll let her finish that, yeah, because I've forgotten. I've gone blank. But yes, welcome, Sherrine. Sherrine! Is she upset that I didn't get it right? Sherrine, how are you there?
Thank you
She's
so
frozen.
much.
Oh, she's back. She's back.
Thank you so much. My name is Sherrine Barrowes, and I am Managing Director of SAB Counselling Service Limited, and I am an author of Love Without Disappearing, Staying Connected to Yourself. Yeah. Now, thank you for inviting me, Beverly and Yasmin. Is there anything in particular you would like to ask me?
Yes, we're going to be asking you some questions. It's just your intro. I'm just, breaking you in, easing you in gently. So usually the start of the conversation is just to know, because you told us all these titles that you have. So what led you on that path to be all these things? Mm-hmm.
Okay. So who I am is I'm a Jamaican born. And I came here when I was 15 years old to live in the UK to join my mother. And as I said, I'm currently a psychotherapist, also a trustee of the 100 Black Men of London. I'm a mother of 4 daughters. And I am a woman who has spent much of her life helping others while learning what it means to stay connected to herself. And so that's part of what my book is about, but that is also part of the work that I do with SAB Counselling Service.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Very succinct. I like that. Okay. So you said you're Jamaican born and you came here at the age of 15. So what led you to go into that role of counseling in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
What inspired you to do that?
Okay. So growing up in between cultures and navigating a sense of belonging, I remember coming from Jamaica at 15, leaving the third form there, coming here into the fifth form. And I think within the first few months, I recognized difference. I recognized difference based on how I was treated in terms of the teachers, which class they automatically put me in until they had to retest me and then change to my class. But because I'm a Black woman, they automatically put me in the bottom class. And my mom, who is more of an advocate than a loud advocate, asked them what the hell they were doing. And so they had to retest me. I think personal experiences as well ties into what has inspired me as an individual. I think personal experience around grief, loss, responsibility, and survival, wanting to create a kind of space that I wished had existed for me, both growing up and, as a young adult, trying to navigate the world. And I've always had this curiosity about human behavior, relationships, and healing. Seeing how often people disappear into roles and expectations and responsibilities. And for me, that was also part of what led me here.
Yeah, I'm just sitting here. I do this every week. I'm going to turn into the Churchill dog. As you're speaking, I'm just doing this because I can totally relate on that sense of belonging, but mine was in the opposite direction because I left here and went to Jamaica. So it was that sense of belonging. So I totally hear what you're saying with that. And I think Sugar can relate in terms of the school and how they just presume.
Yeah, when I came to England,
So,
like it's exactly, like, put you back a year because you can't possibly be at the right level. And then horrified to see that the English students, we were doing our 15 times table backwards, and the English students are only just learning their 3 times table. But yeah, let me not go off on a rant.
That's absolutely true. It's because the school system in Jamaica when I was there mimicked the English school system. And so when I came here, even though they put me 2 forms ahead, still they just assumed that because I'm a Black person, my brain works in a certain way. And you know what? That continued throughout my working life too, because even throughout my working life, it's almost as though I was either the token person or the person who, almost like I was not supposed to be in that space. It's almost as though they expected you as a Black person to fit into a certain mold. And I think also the preemptive ideas around being Jamaican as well, they also put you in a certain mold. Leaving Jamaica and adapting to UK life was really difficult for me initially because the weather was one of the things that I struggled with. And also, I grew up with my grandmother and my grandfather in Jamaica. And a lot of my childhood was wrapped around the church. That's where I learned about how to do poetry, stuff like that. When I came here, it was very isolating. And I noticed that the communities that we have in Jamaica where you can go and look for your aunts or your other family members just didn't exist in UK life for me. My mom was very isolated, in my opinion. I also left home at 17 and created my own path, and I became a mother and I knew that I wanted something to be different for my children. So from early on, I knew I wanted to do something in the helping profession So initially, I started out as a housing advisor, actually. My very first job was actually a receptionist at a library in the UK. And I remember it was a summer job. I decided I'm going to go to work during the summer. And I went there and I thought, wow, this is really good. So what I did, instead of going on to do my A levels, I decided to look for a full-time job. Yeah. And that's how I started my career in reception first. And then I moved into housing. And during my time at the housing office in Redbridge, actually, I then studied to be a union rep. So I was helping other Black individuals within Redbridge to actually fight for their rights. And I remember going into these spaces and even the head of housing looking at me like, how dare this Black woman think she can speak to me like this? And for me, it was a journey, but it's also a journey that led me here because I knew I wanted to help individuals, but I wanted to do it. For me, psychotherapy is the perfect space for me because it doesn't require, first of all, there were long hours when you're doing employment law. When you're dealing with employment issues, it takes a lot of strain from you. And so I decided that I was actually going to study psychotherapy. And that's how I ended up that. I think another thing is I lost my father in the year 2000 from completed suicide. And that in itself was a driver for me as well. I wanted to understand the human condition and the human psyche and how it worked. And also, I lost my fiance in 2020 as well. And discovering that grief can be both devastating and transformative. Yeah. So writing my book, as in returning to myself, was a lot of those life experiences were captured in it, both from a cultural perspective and the journey as a Black woman.
Okay, first of all, I want to say I'm sorry for your losses that you have had because that's like very, very close connected losses. So based on what you're saying, because a few people that we have spoken to that are psychotherapists, they tend to have said that it was through having therapy of their own that also sparked why they've gone into that field. Was that something for you as well?
Yeah, actually, I remember I was running a case where they were trying to get rid of an entire team in the housing service. And that particular team was predominantly Black. And it so happens that I was also in that team at that time. Okay. And because of the way the system worked, I then made a decision that I was going to go to therapy because this became very stressful for me, both being the person who was fighting on behalf of my team and myself going through what I was going through. And when I went to see the therapist, I remember sitting there thinking, you have no clue whatsoever. I was thinking, even without training, I could do a better job than you. Usually, obviously, they send you to spaces where there's people who don't know anything about your culture. And you have to over-explain yourself to them in order to get them to even understand the humanity of what it means to be a Black woman. And I think that was my pivotal moment. You are absolutely right about that. And I then made a decision after that. I was made redundant about a year later. So we got redundancy. And my redundancy money is what I used to actually go and study psychotherapy.
Okay. So I see you also, one of your titles also is Managing Director of SAB Consultant. Am I saying that right?
SAB Counseling Service.
SAB Counseling Service. So, so rather than what made you decide to just set your own counseling service as opposed to working within the counseling field?
Okay. So I did work in the counseling field. While I was in my second year full-time counseling, I did a postgraduate in family therapy. So it's not the normal for family therapy in the UK. It came from Belgium, but it was a trauma-informed therapy. And I was working for Mind at the time, and they needed someone who they felt could actually, who they thought would be able to complete the therapy. And they were paying for it. So I said, I will, no problem. So I went, and it was a residential, a very embodied kind of therapy, a therapy that deals with the family network of someone who has mental health issues. And it was just a completely different, it made me see things through a different lens. It made me go back to my own family of origin and the deep work that you had to do with that. I think I remember coming home one day from one of the residential and called my mom and said, these are, I didn't particularly like this. I didn't particularly like that. And my mom went to me, I don't have the space for this right now. So I was like, oh my God. And then I realized from there that actually healing does not require the other person to heal on your behalf. Healing comes from you as the individual. And it's really about understanding that sometimes as individuals, we expect, everybody around us or people who have harmed us in some way or hurt us in some way to take responsibility, but not everybody will, because our journey is different. Yeah. And what I learned about myself from that is what my family systems created in terms of patterns. And I was more aware of my patterns moving forward. And then I made a decision after I'd finished. I remember Paul, which is my fiance, said to me, okay, you are finished now. What would you like to do? What is your vision for yourself? And I said, my vision is I want to start a psychotherapy company that actually not only have Black people involved, but I wanted to be predominantly Black. I wanted to actually explore our culture in a way that I have seen so much pain happening in our community. People who, through immigration, through migration itself, even pain that my mom as a nurse came to the UK. She was 21 at the time when she came to the UK. And she went through so many things, patients telling her that they don't want her to even touch them. And she had her own journey and her difficulties as well, actually being a Black woman in this country. And for me, I knew that it was a community issue. And I wanted to do more than just healing one or two people. I feel it's important for us to focus on helping my community to heal. So, funny enough, Paul, who was in IT, said, I will build the back office, but you build the front office. And it's funny because when he passed, he had already built the back office and I didn't know. But his passing made me still pursue the company because I felt he had done so much work already on the back office. And so I learned how to build a website when I knew absolutely nothing about building a website. But I just didn't want anyone else to touch it because it was our baby. And for me, it was a very transformative period in my life. It was difficult, but it was incredibly transformative. And SAB was built on the back of that. During my grieving process, I put a lot of my energy in work to the point where all I knew is that I am so tired, I just want to go to sleep now. And I was fine with that because of where I was in that process.
Okay. So So part of what you were saying was, well, in your bio was saying about losing yourself in because of all these roles and hats that we wear. So how does that apply in your case?
Okay. So a mother of four, that's alone, yeah. But being a wife, a mother, a daughter, I was the eldest as well, the firstborn. And so the first granddaughter, there were a lot of expectations. And I realized that actually over the years, I had been overextending. I had been, you know, I was the one who was trying to keep situations stable within the family dynamic. And it was very tiring. It was exhausting that everybody was coming to you to try and solve a problem. And some of these people were older than I was. They're the generation, before me. And I realized that actually it was time for me to attend to me. And I needed to focus on that aspect of it first. And actually not become an enabler, because that's what we do. We become enablers when we don't allow families to sort their issues out themselves, when we go in and try to calm the emotional weather so it feels stable at family outings, for example. And so for me, that was a lot to do with the overextending. But I think what taught me even more was my relationship with Paul. It had a major impact on how I viewed love, because I didn't have to overextend in that relationship. I didn't have to be anyone other than myself. I didn't have to make sure I'm home early to cook dinner for everybody. It was who first comes home, that's the person who puts the dinner on. I didn't feel as though I needed to earn love in that relationship. And that relationship taught me a lot about love. And I think that's what made the loss so devastating for me. I kind of felt, God, you've given me this, and then you've snatched it away. What the hell is this? And the first couple of years, the why question just kept coming up. Why? Why would you do this to me? But then when I switched from why to what is this trying to teach me about myself, and actually recognizing that everybody's journey is different, that I am not responsible for his journey and he's not responsible for mine. And what our journeys entail. And he did a lot with his life. He did a lot for the Black community. I felt that we would have been a super couple, yeah? We would have made so many changes, and we did effect change during the period that we were together. I was just not the type of person who was in the forefront, okay? I was happy to push him in the forefront and do my work at the back, yeah? But yes, once I moved from that place and realized what my purpose was as an individual and focused on that, it was then easier to navigate that. And I tell you something, the first book I tried to write was a memoir of our time together, because I felt that our story would have been so helpful for our community to share about just Black love generally. But I couldn't finish the book for 2 years. And the book wrote itself pretty much because I wrote it through the grieving process, but I just couldn't finish the book. And then on his 5th anniversary, which was last December, something very strange occurred, and I ended up in the same hospital that, he was in. And I just came home from that, and I just started writing. Every night after I finished work, I was just focused on the book. I was up till 4 a.m., but I somehow wasn't tired. And this book just pretty much wrote itself. I think the hardest part of the book was the cover and the editing. Yeah. But that's what led me to write it.
Okay, so that brings us to the book now. So tell us about your book.
Okay. So Love Without Disappearing is kind of expressing that you do not always have to carry everything alone, even though that's what we've been taught growing up. We've been taught that we need to be the strong one, yeah, that actually that is your power. And a lot of what we've been taught culturally moves us from actually focusing on our own individual healing, and it stops us from it puts us in a situation where we constantly overextend ourselves, and I don't believe that that is helpful to build strong connections. So the book is about not abandoning yourself, ensuring that you set boundaries and not see boundaries as rejection, and understand that you don't have to earn your worth by overgiving, and to actually show up authentically in relationships, both with families and friendships, and that it's actually okay to set boundaries with others and focus on what is happening inside of you during the process, using our intuition a lot more. The book is more of an embodiment of what occurs. It isn't instructional. It isn't about calling you out. It's about helping you to understand what happens inside of you when things are happening while you are present.
Okay. So you said the cover was the hardest part. You know more
Yes.
the cover. I beg you. Show the people them the cover.
That's the cover.
Okay. So is this like this is you and Paul?
No, I will be writing the memoir of Paul and I. This cover and this book isn't about Paul and I. Yes, okay. I lightly touch examples in certain pages, but the book is not really about him. The book is really about learning not to overfunction, overextend, being authentic, do not abandon yourself, understanding that our upbringing and our culture actually promotes us abandoning ourselves and call it love, but that isn't love. That is self-abandonment. And what happens with that is that we store a lot inside of our body, okay? And some people disassociate from it. So we're sometimes walking the road, but we're not actually there, yeah? And all these titles, sometimes I just want to be Sherrine, you know? And I was a girl before I was a mother, before I was a wife, before I was a woman. And just remembering that.
Mm. It's funny you should say that. Just before you came on as well, we was talking about not having what you call it, being not having our own identity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we was always somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's
daughter.
Yeah.
And Danny's sister.
Danny's sister. So yeah, it was always I nobody knew me. It's like when we used to go to family things or funerals as we do in our community, and it's always I have to get people to know who I am by relating to other people. So it's funny that you should say that. So but it is a cultural thing, isn't it? So it's like because it's kind of inbred. So it's not like even like we do it consciously, it's subconsciously that we kind of have these attitudes within our culture to overextend in and keep, you know, we keep things in because we don't want nobody know our business. Or, you know, and if there is any kind of rifts within the family, you don't want it to go outside, and seeking external assistant is seen as your chat to watch. So there's so many streams of that. So I totally get it.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember my grandmother used to say, you're not allowed to go to anybody's house. Yeah. And she would say, they can come to your house. But one of the things she used to say is, next thing something is missing, and them say your teeth from them. Yeah. So you were taught not to eat from anyone. You're taught, do you understand all of these things that you're taught? Now, I'm not saying that we should throw out our culture. What I'm saying is we need to understand that it doesn't help us to create connection with others. Yeah. Because when we look at roles through the lens of that is what a woman is supposed to do, that is what a man is supposed to do, we actually remove the opportunity to grow relationships based on the relationship itself rather than the roles. You know, in every single relationship, it's about, whether it's with a partner or with your sister or with your mom, it really is an individual relationship. And you have to navigate that in the way that works best for you both, rather than what works best for how people see it, you know, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm just thinking, but I'll hold my point. Finish what you were saying.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to come in and say, it's not even just between you and that person. It's the other outsiders saying, "Oh well, you should be like this," or she's a bit like a man, isn't she?" Or "You turn woman," and all them sort of things, and that can ruin a relationship. Although the two people themselves are okay together, the outsiders putting in their point of view can tip it.
That's it. That's it. But the thing about it is, I think one of the things in that relationship for me is that there was always clarity. We were both busy people, and every Sunday night he would say to me, "Okay, let's see what our schedule is this week." He would ensure that we had our time together. I didn't have to ask for that. Okay, this is not something he had to do. And when we started dating, he immediately said, "I don't need you to cook for me. I don't need you to clean for me. I can do those things myself." Obviously, we would both do stuff like that. But the point is, I didn't feel that I had to do something because that was what was expected of me as a woman.
Which brings me back to what I was going to say was, like, sometimes we have perceptions of how people are supposed to be. So, like, you know, like with the elders, I always had this perception that elders always know best. So whatever advice they're giving you, you take it because they know best. Until one time I was speaking to an elder about something, and her suggestion, I'm thinking, I don't think so. And then that point, it just clearly, they don't always know, they don't always have the right answers. They're just gauging life based off their experiences and what they've learned and how they've navigated things, but doesn't mean it's right. But we were just so trained that, well, I say we, as in me, was so trained that older people know everything. So you never question what they had to say. So all those things, I think, kind of suppresses, because like even the guidance that they might give or not give for your life pathway can be quite stifling if they don't agree with the choices that you're making.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really good point, because, you know, in terms, things were created for their time as well. You know, the world has evolved. We have altered. Back in the day, women didn't necessarily work. Yeah. Yes, my grandmother worked, not every day of the week, but things were different then. Now, you know, in order to even afford anything, you know, both couples work. So we need to alter situations based on circumstances as well. You know, yes, you could, no one is saying that you need to throw out every aspect of your culture, but ask yourself, why are you overextending? And I think one of the difficulties as well with that is, and this impacts so many relationships today as well, because I think as women, sometimes we're taught about wifely roles. And so we enter relationships with those wifely roles, even when the guy is not acting like a husbandly role, okay? Because we want them to choose us. Well, women are the ones who choose, yeah? It's actually the woman who chooses. A man can step to you and say, hey, but you say yes or no, yeah? And so you don't need, it's you who choose. Just remember that as a woman and understand that you can see, first of all, in the first 4-5 months of the relationship, people wear masks anyway. Okay. So you need to get through that period in the first place. And the mask then comes off. Now, when the masks come off, you can make a decision as to whether or not this is the person you choose to be with. But by then, because women produce oxytocin so early, they fall in love with potential. They don't fall in love with the reality of someone. Okay. So for me, show me your reality. Yeah. And I can make a decision based on me being my authentic self and you being your authentic self. But outside of that, decisions are not made from an authentic place.
Yeah. Most decisions are made from emotions and how you're actually feeling, rather than, like you said, what is presented to you, potential and what you see, they can be. But you're supposed to be gauging on what it is right now in front of you.
Absolutely.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just wanted to pop back to the book. In the bio that you didn't hear UK Fluffy Chick read, she said there was a 90-day shift. I'm wondering, is that discussed in the book?
Yes. In the book, in between chapter 11 and 12, I speak about the 90-day plan, which I've created a journal for as well. And that 90-day plan just helps you to go through thinking about, it kind of helps you to take notice of what is happening inside of you as you go through the book. A lot of the book is not about, you need to change this now. It is not like that at all. It is really about, notice this. This is happening for you right now in this moment. Take notice of this. And it also just takes you back to childhood, because that's where we learn about relationships. We learn about relationships based on our childhood, whether it's had a positive or a negative impact on us. And because of that, we use our childhood relationships, and then we create relationships based on the same kind of nervous systems. And we formulate relationships that is based on what is familiar, not necessarily what is right for us. Okay. And another thing is, we come from trauma. A lot of us as Black individuals come from trauma. And from that place, we seek relationships that actually we think is a good relationship because our nervous system is firing at all cylinders. Well, actually, maybe it's a warning, yeah? And what the book teaches you and the 90-day plan teaches you is to notice those shifts that are happening in your body and why it's happening and why something feels right when all it is that it's familiar.
Wow. I think that really answers the question.
Yes, thank you very much. I put a note to say that the book is available on Amazon.
Yes.
And can you just remind us of the title again?
It's Love Without Disappearing, Staying Connected Without Losing Yourself.
Love Without Disappearing. Thank you.
Yeah. And the 90-day journal is also Love Without Disappearing, but it's called a 90-day guided journal for returning to yourself.
So it's separate from the book?
Yes, it is separate from the book. But within the book,
You've got between
yes,
11 and 12. You've got.
Yes, it does go through a 90-day plan. The journal is for you to actually write down your feelings on a day-to-day basis for 90 days based on the questions that I pose to you.
Excellent.
Yeah. To be honest, my work is not only, and the book itself is not only about helping, it's not about helping you to become someone new. It's about helping you to return to who you were before you learned to perform for love. And one of the things, as I said, grief has taught me is that love continues even when life changes form. Much of my journey has been moving from survival to self-connection. And the book is a lot about the self. The ultimate aim of the book is returning to self. The greatest relationship we will ever have is the one with ourselves. And I wrote Love Without Disappearing because I realized how many of us have mistaken self-abandonment for love.
Mm. Mm. Yes, you silence me, and that's
I'm not silent. I agree.
Go for it, Anita, because my next thing was gonna get some feedback from some of the people that are here. Go for it, Anita, please.
Yes, you do. You do it without thinking what you're doing. Yeah, it's a sad thing to say, but what is this? We as women think that, yeah, for us to get to the next stage, that's what we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, no, this wasn't right.
Absolutely. I understand. I understand completely because we're taught to prioritize the male in the relationship. Now that works very well if the male is also prioritizing you. Okay. But it doesn't work so well when it's only you doing the prioritizing.
So in terms of, so we know where you are at the moment, you got your consultancy firm and these things. What is your future? What is your aim? What is it that you'd like to do going forward in terms of progression or change or whatever? What is it that you would like to do going forward?
I think for me, I would like to be able to reach more people globally through speaking and writing, expanding with workshop based on Love Without Disappearing, because I'm creating a workshop around it. Developing resources. I have some card decks in mind, some relationship card decks, different courses, growing a podcast that I'm starting soon with another fellow therapist. That I'm looking forward to dealing with Black issues like the mother wound and the father wound and stuff like that within our community. And to continue to make therapy culturally accessible. At the moment, I work with people all over the world. And I want to continue to reach, or especially our communities globally, and leaving a legacy that helps people to return to themselves. At the moment, I have quite a few things like the speaking and sharing messages more publicly, hoping to launch Therapists Talk podcast very soon to grow, both Denise and I, by the way, to grow SAB Counseling Services Limited to help to access, turn it into an organization that helps to access different Black cultures within our culture as well, and explore what it means to live from choice rather than obligation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. And also I'm doing TED Talk Africa, TEDx Africa at the end of the year. So I'm looking forward to that in Abuja.
Okay, that's interesting. But I think I heard you say at the beginning, you are a chair of 100 men.
Yeah.
What is?
Yeah.
What was it called?
100 Black Men of London. So I am not a chair, but I actually I'm a trustee of the 100 Black Men of London. And what I do for them, apart from kind of helping with decisions around the organization, I actually host parenting classes every 2 weeks. So basically, the children who the 100 Black Men of London mentor, I've realized that those children, when you actually help children or mentor children, they still go back to parents who haven't been healed. And so I started a parenting group therapy with parents for the 100. So while they are in their mentoring classes, I am with the parents doing group therapy with them and actually challenging some of the ideals about how they were brought up and how they view parenthood now and what they have gained and what they will change, and help them with skills on how to parent differently. Because the truth is, as parents, some of, like, for example, some of our parents our age, all we know about discipline is shut up, children should be seen and not heard, if I will throw something and lick you, and kind of teaching them something outside of that, how to actually have conversations with your children, actually allow them to have a voice, not allow their nervous system to actually be constantly feeling as though they are restricted in some way so that they can excel to their highest. Because I think that has also divided our community or created things around self-worth within our community, because we don't feel we're good enough because we were told that we weren't allowed to use our voices. And it's actually just teaching parents that it's okay to allow your children to use their voices.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it plants a lot of seeds for imposter syndrome as well, because when they do start to speak, it's like, do I have a right to really speak? Who gives me an authority to have a voice right here? So yeah, it does kind of plant seeds for lots of behaviors, if you like. So as we is there any other comments there, Sugar, in the chat, or is there anyone who wants to unmute their mic to say something? Feel free to do that.
Our Denise has been commenting throughout. She's pleased about the coming for the podcast. Oh, what's this? Oh, I seem to have lost something. She says, falling for something.
Denise has read my book, so I wonder, I would actually love for her to kind of give her one synopsis.
Hi. Hello.
Hi,
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, Sherrine, like she said, that book was ready to come, because the way it came and so swiftly and speedily is really quite amazing. What the book does, it really gets you to turn the light on or up on your relationships, because we shouldn't have to sacrifice ourselves to get love. That's a pattern that we could have learned in our childhoods, but it doesn't work. So the book really takes you through the journey of undoing that, but by looking and being mindful and having more presence in your life, so you can see where you are selling yourself short. And the book is wonderful because it's funny, Beverly, you used the term Sanksit. I can't remember how to pronounce that word. Yeah, that one. And that was one of the words when I started to read Sherrine's book that I said, that's what I love about the writing, because it's so in a nutshell, and it's so simple, and it's so gentle, and it's so compassionate, and it really brings you into presence, which obviously doesn't only help romantic relationship, but all the relationship, and then of course especially the relationship with yourself. So you learn how to have a voice and feel that you have a right to have a voice. And even with the 100 Black Men of London, for our children to achieve in this world and to feel like they're here to make valuable contributions as other children, they have to have a voice. So if we're not allowing them to have a voice in the home, they're not going to grow up and suddenly have a voice. You know, so it's really important that we parent a little bit differently. So you wouldn't need people like me and Sherrine in our books, you know. So, but that's what we're here for, to make that difference. So I highly recommend the book. I'm not just saying that because she's my beautiful sister friend, but it's a wonderful book. And the 90-day accompaniment book as well, especially for those who likes to write things out and process and understand, is a great addition. What else? Oh yes, she talked about podcasts. So we're really excited because we're going to come together and create a podcast. We've always wanted to do this. So it will be a platform where we'll be talking about lots of things as it relates to relationships and to culture and, you know, just to transformation and living the best life experience ever. So watch this space.
Yes,
Big
ma'am.
things are going on.
That's right, and that's what we like to hear. Make sure you showcase it and share it with the supporter Sis-Star networking community on our Facebook group page, where we try to showcase everything that we come across. We post it there so that people are aware of what we know of. Try to make people
Thank
aware
you so much. Yeah, thank you so much, Denise, for your feedback on the book. You know, I'm really pleased that, you know, the responses I've received so far has been really good about the book and understood. And it's the way the book is written as well. It gives you space to digest. You don't have to read the book in one go. You can read chapter 1, process it, and then read chapter 2. Or you can read it all together. And it also actually gives little snippets of quiet reminders at the end of each chapter, just things to think about. And it also gives little snippets from the therapist's perspective, because what happens when you're a therapy as well, when you're in the room, you have to be aware of your own traumas that you are bringing into the room when a client comes to you, and being able to separate that from your own stuff.
Mm-hmm. So as we're rounding up now, the last question I'm going to ask you: if you had the opportunity to go back and speak to young Sherrine, what advice would you give to Sherrine that maybe someone who is on that same pathway can relate to?
Okay. I think I would say to Sherrine, you do not have to carry everything alone. You don't have to be the strong one all the time. Your sensitivity is a strength, not a weakness. You are allowed to take up space. You do not have to disappear to be loved. The life you are building will be worth the struggle. And one day your story will help people heal.
Wow, fantastic. I can see the little Sherrine going, thank you.
To God be the
felt
glory.
her. I felt her.
Yes, thank you. That was beautiful.
That absolutely was. Is there anything that I've left out, Sugar?
No, you seem to be on point this week. Obviously, Kenya has come out of your system. Excuse me. Was there anybody else with any questions before we wrap up? I think, like we've realized, that Sherrine is very succinct and she's put everything together so nice and neatly, you know. Hold on, someone's calling me. Hello?
I would say is big up to the two hosts as the male of this group here.
They can't hear you. Excuse us a moment.
You're going to relay.
Okay, so repeat yourself.
I'm saying big up to the hosts.
Big up to the hosts.
That's Fluffy and Yasmin.
That's Fluffy and Yasmin.
I'm saying I've been following for the past 4 weeks or so.
Can you hear him?
Everything that I have listened to, everybody that you've had on there, have been so informative. It enlightens me as a male, and especially this lady speaking there about relationship and so on. I'd like to know a bit more about the 100 men. Not that I'm going to join in, but what does she provide for them? And whatever else. I was in and out. Very interesting, very informative.
I
feel enlightened this evening.
Did you catch any of that?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
But I think the crux of that, apart from complimenting everybody, was to say, just a little bit more about what you actually do with the 100 Men.
Okay. So the 100 Black Men of London is an organization that mentors young children between the age of 9 to 16. Okay. And what I do is I created a parent group. So the parents of all those children, I do group therapy with them. So we will have specific topics. So say it's speaking about self-esteem. Say that's the topic for the kids on that day. Then I will bring it to the parents as a topic. Let's talk about self-esteem. And let's talk about how you felt when you were younger, at what age, and how do you feel your self-esteem, which one of your parents helped with your self-esteem, which didn't, what helped you, what would you like to do differently? So the parent group is really about examining our culture, our culture and ourselves, and doing something differently for the next generation.
So that they can see where the next generation is heading, rather than holding them in the space that we grew up in or they grew up in.
Yes, and the 100 Black Men are always looking for male mentors. So if you guys know any male mentors who is happy to join the 100 and be a mentor for a young child, then that would be great as well.
Okay, so if you can share that information, contact information, we'll get it from you.
Okay, no worries.
Yeah, that would be interesting to share that with the networking community, because we do have some men in there, so who knows? Yeah.
Okay, lovely.
Yeah. So is that?
I think that's it. 100 Men are always looking for male mentors, so we're just repeating what Sherrine had to say. Yes, we're there.
Okay. Well, Sherrine, thanks again for giving us the opportunity to hear your journey, hear your story. It's been quite interesting, fascinating, relatable, and relative to anyone who's going to be listening to it. So, thanks again. Thanks for everyone who has been a participant and spoken and given some feedback. Thank you, Denise, for making that connection between me and Sherrine. And so that's all my thanks. Them thanks to everything. Thanks to the Almighty.
And thank you guys for having me. Thank you so much for giving me this space to actually, speak so passionately about the book and my life and my and SAP counseling service as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I have actually put the book link in the chat, but just to reiterate, that is via Amazon. Yeah, if you don't manage to pick up the link. All right. Thank you very much. I'm going to say that's a wrap. Is that okay?
Yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye,
Thank
everyone.
you.
Bye.
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 I forgot to say thank you to each individual next week.
All right, I'm going to end it now.
Anita, Long, Denise, Jennifer, Sharon, Maya. Done.
All right, I'm going to press the button now. You finished talking.
Press the button.